Go.
Hey.
Hi, everyone.
Yes, welcome.
We are all the way on episode 5. I can't believe it.
I know, it's crazy. Episode 5, season 2. It's been an exciting start of the season. Last week we had or I should say, was it last week? 2 weeks ago now. Yeah. We had a really exciting, our first live episode together. And that was fun. So anybody who's new watching tonight, we are Rockhound Talk Live. I'm your host, Amber Nicole, and this is my co-host, Ben Korn, and we're here to bring you exciting, passionate rockhounds and miners and anybody in the hobby of rockhounding who enjoys and is very passionate is on our show. So we will be adding our guest here shortly, but before we get started into speaking with Zeke Holder of the Cherokee Ruby Mines, we'll just briefly talk with you about some of our experiences that we had a couple weeks ago. So what do you think, Ben? How was New York?
I had a lot of fun. It was a great experience. I've got my Crystal Grove hat from digging for some Herkimer diamonds. We did some Herkimer diamond stuff. I know you did a whole bunch of extra stuff. We also went to New Jersey. It was great for me too. It was an extra long trip because I was also in Michigan in the UP right before them. Basically went home, unpacked, repacked, and made my trip out there. So I've got so many rocks to go through right now. It's kind of ridiculous.
Isn't it crazy? It's like, at the time when you're collecting, like, it's a lot. And then, you go and you collect some more in other places and you don't really realize it until 2 times when you're unloading. And then when you're just sitting there looking at it like, oh my God, like this is a lot of stuff to clean and, beautify and admire, so, but I guess, that's the part that I like when, I've exhausted my funds from traveling, then I can enjoy the rocks and, clean those up and, display them. So it's a different kind of excitement for me. I do enjoy that part. It's just, it does seem overwhelming when you have like buckets upon buckets.
Yeah. I've got a whole stash of them too because I just bought a house and so I'm moving now, and so I have a bunch of them that I've moved to my new house, but I haven't had a chance to clean them yet. I actually was working on a little project in my basement now. The house has a utility sink in the basement, and the sink has some threads on it that you can attach like a hose to.
Yeah.
So I bought a utility sink just without faucets or anything, and I'm going to use that as a second sink to help clean rocks. So
nice.
I'll put a bucket or a tub underneath it, and then I'll attach a hose to the sink that's already in there, and then I can clean rocks and have all the dirt and whatever go into a tub, and then I can just dump it outside rather than having it go and ruin my drain. So I'm already doing little projects to make it something that's a lot better than trying to clean these in my kitchen in an apartment.
Yeah, right. So that's great. I mean, that's an extra addition that you probably weren't expecting to have, with your home. You can soup it up Rockhound style.
Yeah, right.
So when you were down in New Jersey, tell us a bit about like, was there any part in that experience or any finds that you haven't gone through anything, but what was the best part for you down in New Jersey?
Well, for me, I was actually, as part of the Minnesota Mineral Club, I was the field trip leader. I thought that part of it was really great. I love bringing people out there. People have never been to places before, and they're finding these amazing, really cool rocks. And, just talking to people, being like, hey, did you like the night dig? And people were like, oh my gosh, like being able to walk around with a UV light and the whole ground for acres is lighting up, like that was really cool. So that was definitely my top thing. I just love leading field trips and being able to like share that with people. But I will say too, I've always liked agates. I've mentioned that before, and so I've actually bought a few carnelian agates from New Jersey, and I did a bunch of research trying to figure out where are they. It's so hard to figure out where to even access them because New Jersey, pretty much everything is private land. So I was able to get out to some spot. I got lost in the woods, trudged through poison ivy, stinging nettle. It was like 90 degrees. It was one of those where you're like, oh my gosh, like, why am I doing
Like,
this? And
I'm
then,
so crazy.
yeah. And then I was able to go to a different spot where then I was actually able to find some gravel. And then I found like my first like actual like decent carnelian agate. And that's always
Nice.
such a good thing when you're rock hounding, to do your research and then
Yeah.
find what you spent all the time researching. It's a really good
That
payoff.
is like the best feeling. It really, really, really is. Like to me, to put in all of that footwork that you put in with researching, and then even if you spend the whole day and you can't find it, and even at the next day, it's like when you do find it, you're like, oh my God, I did it. And it's like, of course, you knew that it was there, right? I mean, because you did the research, but it's like you put all the pieces together and found it. It's like, to me, I look at rock hounding as like the best adult treasure hunt ever. It's like, it's so fun. And it's like you take all the clues and you put them together, and it's fun. So that's good.
Yeah,
I'm glad
and
you.
you did some of your own research,
Yeah.
right? You went to some spots.
Yeah. So my friends, so luckily, I have like Rockhound friends everywhere. And so this place that I'm going to mention, I personally didn't do research on, but it is a location that you can do research on and find. But we found some travertine, which was a whole new mineral for me. I have never, I didn't know anything about it. And the fact that it's fluorescent is super cool. And there's not a lot of white on white fluorescent minerals. So you can find white travertine that also glows white. So most of the travertine out there is like a pale yellow. But my favorite piece that I collected is a white travertine that glows white, and it's so pretty. But it's a really neat mineral, and it's in a gorgeous area. And it's not far from, if you're in the Herkimer district, to, stop and collect. It's a known location you can find through Mindat. It's Ilian Gorge, I believe, is where people collect it, which some of your members of the your rock club are my rock club too. I'm a part of it now. They were there before, so it was really cool to see, talk to other people that had been there and collected. So yeah, it was a great experience, and looking forward to more of them, more fun rock hounding experiences for sure. Anything new in the news with rock hounding or anything? I haven't heard anything. Have you, Ben?
Funny you should mention that. I've actually been following this issue for a little while. Um, I've been getting some emails forwarded from our president of the Minnesota Mineral Club. Some of the overarching organizations, one of them is the American Lands Access Association, or the ALAA. And their big thing is to try to get public lands still available for people to go and rock hound.
Awesome.
Um, One of the big issues right now is the Mojave Trails National Monument.
Okay.
For those that don't know, it's in California. Um, it's in the desert, and they're proposing, as part of it becoming a monument, to not allow people to collect rocks.
Oh.
It's something that is like national parks and different things you can't collect. That area of California though is like just suddenly like overtaken. Let me see if I can actually quick show you a map from this. So they're asking right now to have people write in, share opinions. It sounds like with the well, let me try and do a tab here so I don't see everything. It sounds like what they're trying to do is just try to get people to get their voices heard, and that's actually been helpful. They've actually been able to get some, compromises in a way of like actually being able to allow it. So I thought this map here, if you can see it, is actually really interesting. So the map here actually shows the area of Southern California deserts that, with the exception of private or military land, was open to recreational rock hounding.
Yeah, because I've collected there. Yeah.
Yeah, and so starting in like the 60s, they've gone through, and now you can see with the military bases, farmlands, wilderness areas, national parks, so much of the areas now you can't collect.
Right.
And so they've got in the dark red in the middle there, that's the Mojave Trails National Monument. So they've got a lot of stuff there that they're just trying to get it so that people can still collect rocks
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, because I know I know just briefly I read that there is a mineral club that they host like rock hounding like excursions out there, and that would completely affect that, I'm sure. Because that was something that I want to revisit when I go out there, and I was considering, one of their excursions. So oh my gosh. So yeah, definitely. Is there a website where
Yeah, I'm
you
trying to
can
find where you can. So they've got the with it. They're in the final stages of the management plan, and
okay.
so they likely need to hear by the end of the month. And they're
Okay.
saying the review and public comment period with the BLM is right now. So I think if you just go to like the BLM and just search for the
Mojave.
Mojave Trails National Monument,
Can
you
find
can
it.
probably find some stuff there. It's 1.6 million acres of land that 2016 was turned into a national monument. So they already pretty much went from saying, no, we're not going to have any collecting, to now they're saying like, okay, we'll hear some comments from the public. So it's just important to
Yeah.
for the public comment there, for the BLM to just say, like, hey, like, I think it's important for people to respectfully be able to collect on, public lands.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much learning, and I mean, just beyond the personal experience that we all have. I mean, it has a lasting impact on our just on how we communicate with each other, building friends. There's just a plethora of positive. So, I mean, I would really hope that they would, definitely consider, the people that Rockhound, especially those who live in the area, and it's, easier access for them. So that will be interesting to see how that kind of turns out.
Yeah, and for those in Montana, they actually had a note at the end of the newsletter here that mentions sort of a positive example of it. And they mentioned that I'm sure some of you have heard of the Bear Canyon agates. They're in the Pryor Mountains in an area, the actual Bear Canyon, which is where they're found mainly. And the BLM in Montana has said that they are actually going to designate a collecting area that, for
Nice.
a small fee, people would be able to collect, and then also then legally be able to sell what you collect as well.
Nice. That's
So
good.
that's another example of, the BLM listening to people and actually, thinking about rockhounds and, what matters to them, and being able to keep
Yeah.
those legacies going.
Yeah, I definitely want to start being more vocal on those kind of issues for sure, and participating, because I think that that's definitely important. And if it's not something important to someone now, I mean, who's to know that they're not going to enjoy rock hounding, 10, 15 years from now. So absolutely. That's good to know. Good information. So without further ado, our guest tonight, Zeke Holder from the Cherokee Ruby Sapphire Mines, will be joining us. So let's welcome Zeke.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
Zeke.
Look at you looking all snazzy. I love the
Yeah,
tie.
right. I thought I'd get dressed up for the occasion.
Yeah, I love it. You look very nice.
I went with a double Windsor.
Okay, nice.
That's how you know it's serious. If I go
Yes.
single Windsor, it's like
Yeah.
no big deal.
Yeah. So welcome to the show. Thank you, Zeke, for joining us. This is Zeke Holder. He is one of the owners of the Cherokee Ruby Ruby and Sapphire Mine. and we're going to talk with him about his journey in rockhounding and the mine and also the geography of the area. Do you have me running in the background? I think I can hear like an echo. Or maybe, was it
Hello?
me? Are we good?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You just kind of went a little bit lower
Oh, okay.
all of a sudden.
Okay. So
It might be trying to adjust or something.
Okay.
We'll see. It's sounding better now.
Okay. So Zeke, tell us, how did you get started into rockhounding, and how bring us up to pack here with your journey and becoming a mine owner. How did that come about for you?
Amber, I'm sorry. I really can't hear you very well. Let me see if I can leave and come back.
Can you hear me now?
That'll be, I can hear you, but just barely.
Okay.
It's almost like I took you off speaker.
Okay.
And I can't really.
Can you hear me? Am I coming in good?
Hang on, I'm going in audio real quick. I don't know. It's crazy because like I heard you just fine. Everything was perfect.
Oh.
And then.
Well, if you want to come back and join us, you certainly can. Or is it working now?
Yeah, no, I mean, if I hold the phone next to my ear, I can hear you. I should have had the earphones, like you said. Hey, let me leave really quickly and come back and see if that fixes it. You want to do that?
Yeah, that works just fine. So anyone who's watching, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, leave a comment. I haven't seen any comments come through. Looks like we've got a couple viewers right now. So definitely leave some comments. Let us know you're here. Ask some questions. Tell us what you've been up to. I know it's summertime now. Hopefully people are getting out and doing some collecting. Okay, let's see. Is that sounding better?
Oh yeah, it sounds perfect.
All right.
I'm going to stay that way.
So tell us, Zeke, how did you get started in rockhounding?
Oh, so rockhounding, you know, and I was thinking about that the other day. It goes all the way back to my childhood. I remember being with a neighbor, like, you know, a lady in her like 20s or 30s. I was like 4, and she facilitated that we bust up this huge piece of quartz that we had found in our yard because we both wanted to know what was on the inside of it. And we were amazed by what was inside of it. And since then, you know, it's always been a passion of mine. So I'm not classically educated in it. I majored in business management as my undergrad, but you know, I taught earth space science for a little bit. That got me into, you know, the physics and the chemistry behind it, and then you know, had this wonderful transition, thank God. And now all of a sudden, you know, it's what I talk about on a daily basis and do. So
yes. And so now here we are. You are teaching people how to find precious gemstones there in North Carolina. So tell me a bit about how, when someone comes to your mine who doesn't have any experience, tell me a bit about how you kind of get them acquainted to the area.
Yeah, so like 90% of all our customers are complete newbies, right? There's actually a very small percentage of the total that is people that's familiar with it, you know, in Rockhound and all this. A lot of people just Google, where should I go mining? And you know, we pop up because we have great reviews. So when they come in, we have a really kind of dedicated process to help new people. And even if you know about rockhounding, I've noticed that each area can become, you know, very different very quickly. It's all very hyper local. So, you know, even if an expert rockhound does come to our area, there's something that we can
Teach them.
probably offer them. Yeah, I would think so. And that, we're always looking for customers to learn. But yeah, so when they come in, we have, these little gem identifier cards.
Nice.
We
That's
go
good.
through a little, yeah, we do a little matching game. It's fun. I've got some rocks here. I'm not sure, I don't have my dock cam, so I might be a little limited. But like we got little pieces of moonstone in there. We've got sillimanite. We've got some small rubies and sapphires. And what we do is we have people, match them up and learn to use the equipment kind of early on.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. We always try to put it back into the hands of the people. We want it to be a learning experience. We teach you how to use UV lasers. I hope that didn't trip anybody's vertigo. I'm sorry.
No, but that's a really good idea, because when people come in and they've never done this before, in their mind, they're thinking they're going to find a faceted, clean gem, and it looks different when it comes out of the ground. So that's a really good thing, to help people kind of rewire their brain for what they're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. People come in and everybody's got different expectations. And if somebody has been to, assaulted or enhanced mine, where they just kind of have these polished, beautiful rocks, and they give them to you in some sandy gravel, like what their expectations when they get here are quite different.
Yeah.
They're looking for a 50-carat ruby, and I'm like, lady, if you find one of our rubies and they're 50 carats, I mean, like, the biggest ruby they're ever selling that's cut, they're doing it like in the next month on Sotheby's. It's only 54, right? Which means it probably started at like 120 and carats. And people were kind of expecting that because they've got that elsewhere. And I'm like, that'd be a $20 million stone.
Yeah.
I was like, you pay $35.
Right. Yeah.
Do this.
Yeah. So it is good, definitely, to know the expectation when you're going in, for sure. And then having a realistic expectation. I mean, you can still have an incredible time, because I've seen the things that have come out of the mine that the customers have, taken pictures and videos, and it's incredible. I mean, some of the rubies that are being found there are just incredible. So I didn't really even consider ruby mining until I came across your mine. So I'm really excited. I was talking to the kids in the last few days. We're thinking about coming down soon. So and then I didn't even realize that you also have sapphires, which is like one of my favorite, stones. So, or I should say gemstones. So I'm even excited for that. So yeah, I think that having a realistic expectation is definitely a number one thing going in anywhere, really, especially in rockhounding. Because you can have people who find all these great things, but you don't know how long they've been looking for it. Like, for example, Ben, was looking for these agates, and it, took him a few trips. Or you went before, right, Ben? When you were looking for the agates, you were in Jersey before you found them, right?
I've been to New Jersey before, but I hadn't really looked for them.
Okay.
It was a lot of like trying to prep and look. They're pretty hard to find because it's a creek in the middle of a bunch of houses and things. So
gotcha. Okay.
They're not the easiest to find.
Yeah.
But
but yeah, it's the same concept, as that, you don't always get lucky. So the fact that people are coming out of the mine finding incredible things is incredible, like just in that aspect alone. So what I see in your collection there that you were showing? So you also have moonstone and selenite. What other gems can you find there?
Yeah, so I busted out. These are some things that we've actually gotten cut and polished.
Wow.
Yeah, this right. Yeah, I'm trying to. Here, let me see if I can get that. See it blaze up a little bit.
Yeah.
And what you do, and this is for any piece of jewelry, because that is the expectation that we try to manage. Is that you know you're not going to pull like a 50 or 70 carat stone, but you can pull something that is able to get cut and set
Yeah.
and
Gem
made.
grade. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And these things, they only have to be 2 carats, right? 2 carats is tiny. Um, you, you know, two carats will get sized down to one. You know, I mean, jewelers can cut smaller than 2 carats, but typically the ones we deal with don't want to cut anything smaller than that. But this is a little lavender sapphire that my son found in the parking lot. Got a
Nice.
piece of rutile. Um,
Nice.
this is a very exciting stone. I recently learned that rutile is like a degraded version of titanium.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's the rutile. You know, if you've ever heard of rutilated quartz or rutilated tourmaline,
Mm-hmm.
you know, rutile gets inside of the stone and does some pretty magnificent things. When it gets inside of a ruby or a sapphire or a garnet, it produces that star effect. You know, the star ruby, star
Yeah.
sapphire, star garnet. So the rutile is really important. I got a little star sapphire right here. I don't know if you can catch the
Yeah. That's
star.
gorgeous.
It normally has to be kind of, yeah, you can see a little bit with the light, and that's what this area is kind of known for, is that asterism. So, but yeah, you know, a 2 carat stone is tiny. 2 carats is a half of a gram. There's 5 carats in a gram. So, you know, a lot of these like super rockhounds is used to pulling out these like, you know, these like huge crystals and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they come here and they're just like chunking away this tiny stuff. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I was like, no, that's where all the treasures are.
Right.
Um,
It's definitely a different focus for sure. Yeah. I would probably be one of those people because, I'm thinking big is great, and, I would be seeing these little things like, oh, it's nothing. So, yeah, I would definitely, it's good that you're there to help guide people because I could definitely see how that could happen where they're getting rid of gems.
So we had a question come in from Vicky. Let me bring it up here. So I know we were just talking about dirt, and I know that people can go to the mine and then go through the buckets of gravel there. Do you also offer bags for people that don't want to get out to North Carolina?
oh yeah, absolutely. We have a square store that's attached to our website, which this will be a great time for me to go ching and then the website pull up right there, but whatever. I'm not that techie. Maybe next time. But yeah, yes, ma'am. Thank you for asking. Yes, sir, ma'am. You can catch us online. Just Google us and check it out. We should be on Amazon soon though, because I think
Nice.
that's maybe a little better. I think it's a better business model for shipping.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Yeah.
They make it really convenient, so you might just be able to find us on there soon. So, but
And
yeah,
and
yeah.
let
Go
me
ahead,
just
please.
back up. So, you and your family that own this mine, you guys are newer owners, correct?
Yes, we've only been here for 1 year now, so we're very, very new. It's been a family-oriented business for the past 80 years. I mean, I'm not even sure when it first opened, but I know that Cherokee was one of the last mines to open. And the story's really about Kaler Fork, which is the creek that runs through, our property. There were 13 ruby mines on Kaler Fork throughout time, and most of them have been shut down because of their lack of EPA, jumping through the hoops and their requirements. but it's still really super Jimmy land. And it's campgrounds and blueberry farms now. So, you know.
So how did you then decide, or like what sort of went into then deciding to buy the Cherokee mine?
Yeah, so you know, honestly, Ben, and looking back, that's probably the biggest blessing is that I can't believe a freaking unsalted ruby mine was even on Realtor.com.
What?
Yeah, I mean, it's
What?
nuts.
That's crazy.
You know, my partner found it. He's also a realtor, Eric Hanty. Check him out. He's the best. Literally sells gem mines. So, but yeah, well, so, you know, part of the story on that is that we're from Florida, right? We're Floridians. And I've got a bunch of kids. I've got a bunch of goats, got a bunch of chickens and bees. And so we were looking to spread out. And if you want to spread out in the Sunshine State, it's like 20 grand per acre. And you have no utilities, you have no roads, and it's underwater like 80% of the year. So it's like, we bought this for like I think it was like 13.5 an acre. It was absolutely not. Yeah, it was cheaper than buying swampland in Florida. So and so many people passed it up. So many people passed it up. That's the way blessings work, and I'm super thankful to the Lord that this worked out. And I have to give credit where credit is due because I did not plan this. You know, I did plan on getting out of the matrix of you know, you having a boss. I couldn't take that any longer. I wasn't gonna make it to 65 out there. So we had to find an exit out the business, and this worked out perfectly. But yeah, it was some cheap land in the Carolina Hills, and a bunch of people passed it up, and everybody told us, you know, a bunch of people come around, and they're like, oh yeah, we looked at this place, you know, we were going to buy this place, but I had to make the decision because this was during a pandemic, remember? They said, that's when things happen, right? The Japanese word for like, you know, catastrophe is also like opportunity, right? Or something like the words are related, I think.
Okay.
And yeah, so sorry. We everybody says to me, you know, we looked at this place, we could have bought it, but we had to make the decision whether we were going to buy a house or buy the mine. And I was like, that's why you see me living in a bus. That's the decision that I made.
Yeah, and you know what, and how things unravel and go, you know, time only tells. So, you know, it's been an exciting year for you, I take it.
It has been exciting. It's been very hectic. You know, living at your work and you know, dealing with all the external things that goes along with it.
Like Ruby, like the Ruby Wars.
Perfect segue to Ruby Wars. Yeah, just, you know, haters that are out there doing everything they can to try to you know, break you down and crush you. And what Ruby Wars has turned out to be, because it's kind of, you know, like revealed itself to me throughout time. It's like a bad episode of Scooby Doo. You know, I mean,
please explain this.
please unpack that. You remember at the end of the day, you know, Scooby Doo was all, you know, they would get the bad guys, they would unmask them, and it wasn't a ghost, it wasn't a vampire, it was their neighbor.
Yes.
And they wanted you, right?
Oh
and
my God.
They wanted you to get off the land because they knew the land was valuable. And that's what my life has turned into. I've you know, I've been arrested 4 times in my life, right? One was in college. Everybody gets that, right? You were in college, you got arrested. You know, you were at a party with no clothes on. Okay, we'll let it go. You know, then possession of marijuana in my 20s. But I mean, like in California, that's legal. But I was in the state of Georgia, so you're going straight to the slammer for that one.
Okay.
But I've gotten arrested twice in the past 2 years, and I'm innocent. You know, I haven't done anything. I've been on my property. I've been protecting my land and establishing my borders. And not only do I have a business, but I have a wife and 4 kids. So that yeah.
And so the Ruby Wars, and I've seen some videos. So, like for example, I seen the video where you're just trying to get water because there's like one water source, and you're trying to get water because you need the water so you can sift through your gravel and stuff. And there's like this issue with accessing water with your neighbor. Explain that a bit.
Yeah, so and we embellished that for Facebook, of course. Our neighbor did actually park on.
Yeah, I've seen the video.
Yeah, no, I mean he tried. This was purposeful and mindful to shut us off. But the big deal, we really didn't need the water. They have like riparian rights here in the state of North Carolina. We just pull it from the creek. It's no big deal. We just wanted to get on Facebook and have something go viral. And actually, that's one of the things. That's one of the things I got arrested for, because they said I was trespassing on his property. Now, we're going to court over it, right? But that's a really long process. So I may be declared innocent of it, but the damage is done. But yeah, but yeah, no, I mean he hates us. These people hate us. They're doing everything they can to shut us down, and that's discouraging. But it's also encouraging, because it's like, man, I mean.
But they're like yards from you. They're like feet from you. Like you could like teach them, like, dude, you probably have rubies on your land too, right?
Oh no, he does.
I know he does. I mean, you're only feet away, so it's like, you guys could just like work. Like why not work together?
Exactly. Well, he's opening a ruby mine.
Now he's opening one.
Yes, that's he wants to be our competitor.
Wow.
So and it's making he's making the journey more difficult for us, but he's making the journey more difficult for himself as well. Because if we were to work together, he would be established much more quickly.
Yeah.
Because we know, and so but that's the way friction is. But I support it, honestly, because that's a bigger movement that I'm trying to show people here, is that, hey, buy a piece of land in Appalachia and, charge people to come dig it up. And that's what I love about, Daniel Coleman and what he's doing, and Brian Majors and what he's doing.
Yeah.
They're going to regular folks' house and being like, let's dig it up. Here's $30. And I'm like, hey, retire in North Carolina, buy a piece of land. So I completely support what he's doing, but it's not that door doesn't swing both ways, apparently.
Yeah.
Well,
so go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, the one thing that we've noticed from sometimes off camera talking with different people is this isn't something that is just like one section of rockhounding. It seems like it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Talking with people about agates, and there's people stealing people's photos and trying to sell stuff that they don't even have, and then turning around and talking to people about Herkimer diamond stuff, and people, it seems like there's jealousy and people, doing different sales stuff that they're not allowed to do, and just all this stuff. And then looking at the Ruby Wars stuff, and it's like you've got these competing, things, and there's even claims of people in other spots doing claim jumping for things and bad sales of claims. And it's crazy how much is out there.
Yeah. The drama will definitely follow. That is for sure. So don't think, Zeke, that you're alone in this Ruby War thing, because if it's not a Ruby War, it's an Opal War, it's a Herkimer Diamond War, it's an Agate War. So it's like it's definitely happening everywhere. The good thing is that there's enough good people in the hobby that want to keep it positive, that we we keep that going. And so going on a positive note here, somebody who comes over to collect in your mine, what are some kind of tools or things that they need to come there?
They don't need anything.
Okay.
We provide all the tools, the scientific equipment. We also provide training on the equipment. You know, we teach you how to use the lights properly. We teach you what to look for. We give you examples. You know, really trying to put that process to work. But you know, we have pre-filled buckets, but so many people were complaining, and they're like, "We want to dig for ourselves. We
Oh,
want
yeah.
to dig for ourselves." And I'm like, well, I mean, we just got a gem pile. You know, we have big gem piles or hundreds of tons of material in the back that the business has run off for the past 10 years. And but people were like, we want to dig a vein. And I was like, lady, if we had a vein of rubies, it would we would not be open to the public.
Could you imagine a vein of rubies?
But these are people's expectations. So we were like, look, okay, for each you know, paid miner that comes in, paid gem miner, we'll let you dig one bucket from the parking lot for free, right? But a local environmental scientist said that we probably should be digging there because our parking lot is like a flat parallel land to Kaler Fork. So it's like an alluvial deposit, you know, floodplain, right?
So it sounds like maybe in the future you might be digging that up.
That's where the pit is. And we, you know, whenever you see those videos, that's people digging up our parking lot. And you know, we've had local lapidary call in and ask us, you know, because we send all our stones to other places, right? We don't cut, we don't set. I want to send it to somebody else. I want to keep that commerce rolling. Right. So we always put it to somebody else. And the lapidary started calling me and they said, are you really getting pigeon blood rubies out of your parking lot? We're like, praise Jesus. You better believe it, lady. So it's been fantastic. And I remember it was like, after the second week, you know, we were just giving the buckets away, and then at like week number 2, somebody found a 9-carat pigeon blood ruby, and we were like, okay, so that's going to be the, you know, the prospector's hole became like a new mine site, and so we've got like 7 or 8 mine sites around campus.
Nice. I'm sorry. How large is the area that you purchase? You have enough room to keep doing these, you know, mines that you're putting all over?
So oddly enough, we looked up the records, right? EPA has been tracking it for the past 40 years. You know, you got to have these permits. And over the past 40 years, they've only mined 2 acres of land. 2 acres, right? So that's 1 acre of land for every like 20 years. And when we first bought Cherokee Ruby Mine, it had 19 acres, and now I think we're up to like 24.
So you got a lot.
Yeah, we've done some acquisitions lately. Thank God. You know, some people have been selling, and so we've been buying, and that's the crazy thing is, you know, you can come here. Anybody can come here. They got a tract for sale right now. It's 3 acres, $37,000. You got a road to it, and it's a freaking ruby mine.
Wow.
You know, there you go. And there it is on Realtor.com with all the rest of them.
Wow. You're making this sound so attractive.
Achievable. It's achievable.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about Brian Majors, you know, the Crystal Collector's latest video when he was at Probst Farm in North Carolina. I mean, this was just some farmer's backyard. You know, there's no equipment involved. You have to dig the hole yourself. Then you have to fill the hole back in yourself. I mean, we'll talk about a business model. This guy's got retirement, you know, like hemmed up. I mean, yeah. Go and check that video out if you haven't. It's amazing.
Yeah, that sounds like it.
So
what were you gonna say, Ben?
No, well, so I was gonna say for work I actually have been in North Carolina a few times. The one time I actually had some time off, and I went to, oh gosh, I can't remember. I went to a couple different emerald mines, and I will say I'm really glad that you don't salt anything, because it was one of those times where it was like it's a trap. It's a tourist trap where they had like the sluice going, and I mean, people were picking out quartz crystals that didn't even have dirt on them. They just threw them in a bag of dirt and then said, here, and you find it, it's like, it's obvious it wasn't in there. They had areas that you could actually find emeralds, and then they would have certain areas of it blocked off, and they were like, well, you can't mine there. And it's like, well, that's where emeralds are, and now I'm just digging around in a place that there's not even going to be anything. So I really like that you're really, because people understand that they might not find anything, but you're getting what's actually there.
Exactly. There's no participation trophies given out here, and that's one of the expectations that we manage. And some people leave for that. They say, so you can't guarantee I'm going to find something, and I'm like, no. And
I mean, that's
leave.
what rockhounding is. I mean, that's what rockhounding is. I mean, if you're a rockhound, you know that every place that you go to explore is not going to give you what you're looking for. Like, that's actually, I think, what intrigues me to keep going is because, or keep looking or keep researching or figuring things out, is because, that's that drive, I guess. So it's like, I mean, I guess like you said, most people are first timers, and so that's an opportunity for you to really educate too on the expectation, like you said.
Yeah, well, and that's what I love about what Ben's got going on. Expanding those lands where people can go rockhound for free. Because yes, we do own a mine, but this should be something that each and every American can go out and do and be a part of. So yeah, I think it's great, and I'm a huge advocate of that. And that's really one of the things that we push here in Western North Carolina, is that we're trying to let everybody know that you don't have to mine with us. You don't have to mine with anybody else. Like, you can jump out in the middle of the Nantahala River, Kulisaja River, Little Tennessee River, and find these things on your own. I was just out in the Little Tennessee River with my kids the other day and was finding citrine left and right.
Nice.
Not even rockhound, and just doing a float down and grabbing some stones behind a little rip current, and sure enough, it was some like gem grade citrine right there in the public for anybody to grab.
That's cool. It's cool that you advocate for that, because I mean, that's you're going to grab first time rockhounders that way when they're just, like you said, you're just out with your kids, you're at the creek, the lake, you're in, you're just tubing, you're just hanging out, and you look over and you see these gorgeous, whether they're gems, rocks, whatever, and that lure into, wow, this is incredible. How can I find more of these? And teaching people that, like, you don't have to necessarily go to a mine or you can find these things on your own. And for you to like advocate and teach about those things is incredible. I think that's great.
Yeah, and I just wanted to put up here, Vicky had found some more information here. So now through July 5th, you can either send actual snail mail to Needles, California BLM, and the address is up there, or you can email BLM_CA_NFO_MTNM_planning@blm.gov. So if you'd like to get your voices heard about being able to keep these federal lands open to rockhounding, there's some more information right there.
Yes, thank you, Vicky, for providing that. By the way, we haven't shouted out any of our guests tonight. Thank you for joining us, Vicky, Derek, Joe, some of the people who have commented. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, Vicky says she got 2 buckets of pay dirt. Joe was asking the name. The name of the mine is the Cherokee Ruby Mine, and it is in Franklin, North Carolina.
It is. Yes. And I just like, I feel like sometimes I am like geographically illiterate. I had no idea that you're like only like 8.5 hours from me in Ohio. Cause I was looking, yeah, no, right. I was looking at my map and I was talking to the kids and I was like, oh my God, I just drove 8 hours to New York. Like we could just drive 8 hours to North Carolina. It's not that far.
That's what I've been trying to tell you.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Well, so we look forward to having all you guys. We'd love to do something on the scene over here. I love what you did over at Herkimer. That was so fun.
Yeah.
I love the Uber light hunting. All of your field trips are, really. It's just another layer of what you guys got going on. We really look forward to you guys doing something out here like that.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
Yeah, and we've got kind of a sneak peek for some of the people listening. We've got we've got an opal mine, some people coming up. We've got someone who does artwork based off of rocks and agates, and so we've got a lot of other really interesting people, and we're always trying to just find anything involving rock hounding, whether it's we've got people with fossils, we've got educators, mine owners, anyone. So if anyone out there has suggestions too, you can always let us know if you've got anyone in the back of your mind, or if you'd like to be on, you can send us an email at rockhoundtalklive@gmail.com or message us on Facebook. But we are so glad. I think Zeke is our first mine owner that we've had on. Joe, I guess, sort of had his own Herkimer Diamond area, but this is like our first, I guess, public mine that people can come and dig. The one thing I was interested in, I saw some of your videos. It looked like you were sort of like prospecting or looking, like what are things that you look for like on your land that might be like places that you might want to do some digging?
So I did some research, and the two words were sand and gravel, right? You want sand and gravel. You want creek beds. But it's illegal per EPA law for us to jump into certain creeks because they support trout, and you can't raise the turbidity for the trout. So, but we do have creeks that don't have trout, and you can dig right in them. And so that's another thing we look for: tributary branches.
Okay.
But anywhere, any floodplains, you can just follow Kaler Fork and see where it expands, or see where it could have meandered over time. But also that, the alluvial deposits, which is what's already been broken down from the mountain, and now it's in the, the creek beds, those, it came from a vein. So when people are asking about a vein, I mean, it's right. There is a vein out there somewhere. And secretly, that's what we're always looking for, because that would be, tons of rubies and sapphires sitting on top of itself, stretching all the way down to the upper mantle. And whoever finds that wins.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, we're always looking for that. And, the only way you can do that is by kind of scratching through the mountain. Tiffany's was here in the early 1900s, hydraulically.
Yes.
Yeah. Just water cannon blasting it. But you talk about trying to find a needle in a haystack, man. They had no clue. And so when they left, I mean, it could have been anywhere. And a lot of people were like, oh yeah, Tiffany's had already mined that area out. They were hydraulic mining, looking for the vein. They did not care about alluvial deposits, because however rich it is, it's still commercially, you can't produce it without just having hundreds of people out there, washing rock.
That makes sense.
So,
yeah. So
in country,
all of the great things that you're finding, they weren't interested in. So that means all of those great things that you're finding are still there.
Yeah, absolutely. So when two tectonic plates come together at a converging boundary, they make these mountains. And these mountains, right, these volcanoes, which is what Appalachia is, like the oldest one, possibly Pangea old. So when they form, they got these little gas vents that go through it. that release the pressure from the upper mantle to the outside world. Well, later on, the minerals come up in these veins and solidify, and so that's where it's at. And so these veins run all the way from the mountain down to, you know, the upper mantle, and they just crack off piece by piece and end up in the creek. But the vein is still out there somewhere.
And is that true then? I was reading that no one has actually found what I guess would be the mother lode, or like the actual source and vein of the rubies.
Correct. And it became too expensive for Tiffany's to continue to look for it. And this is what I think their plan was. They turned it back over to, you know, regular people that would turn it into mines. Eventually, one of us would find the vein, and then they'll come in with a low ball offer and get billions of dollars of material for like maybe 10 million, right? Right. So who knows? But it's out here somewhere. They found it in Matrix on the other side of Franklin, down where like Corundum Hill is, but they never found the Matrix up here, where the Little Tennessee River is. And ours was always the ones that were facet grade, right? They had more corundum grade, and they did have cabochon grade, but primarily the facet grade stuff has always come out of Cowee Valley. And that's our whole area. And I want to throw a quick plug out real quick. There's an old mine, the old Beasley mine. It's just like a mile away from us. We had a bunch of customers come in. They were staying there, right? Anybody can go stay there. And it's an old mine, an old ruby mine. And they have an old shaft that you can walk in. They've got creeks on the property. So, I mean, like, not even coming and mining with us, come stay at Airbnbs in Cowee Valley. And I mean, you can just find stuff right there on the ground. You can go out with the Uber lights at night and look at the roads because they're paved with the tailings from the mine. And so, I mean, literally, rubies and sapphires everywhere. People driving on them and walking on them on a daily basis.
That's crazy.
And Rockhounds are free to come get them.
So, speaking of coming to visit, we did have one question here, going back to the mine. Sue's here was asking, I guess, just some more information about the mine. So I know we mentioned, I think it was like a bucket was like $35. And then which months are you open? Because I think I saw one of your videos, it was even snowing.
Yeah, and that probably won't happen again. You know, we just stayed open this year continuously just to see what the numbers were. But January and February, it was pointless and miserable to be open. We did have customers come through, but it was miserable, and I didn't want them here. And even though we found fantastic stuff, it was just so cold that I wanted them to go away. And I don't. No, we love all our customers, but it was because there's Canadians that they'll come down and it can be like 38 degrees, and they're like, "Oh no, this is fine. We want to be outside."
That'd be me. I'm from Minnesota. That would be me. I'd be in shorts.
And I'm like, I gotta put on another pair of.
Zeke's like, I'm Southern. You know, we don't do this cold stuff.
I've been in Florida too long. You know, maybe I'll acclimatize. But these Canadians are another breed of people. You know, like what they can tolerate as far as. But I'm sorry, I think I got off the question. Oh yeah. Yes. So for $35 is admission. That comes with 2 buckets. If you are a current or former military, or GPAA or magma, or if you mention Ben or Amber, we give you 3 buckets. And you can fill them yourself, or we can fill them. We also have, all you can sluice, $65, and you can dig all day, but you have to dig. You can't pull, pre-filled buckets, because that's going to mess up my bag. So
and what months is it that you're open?
So I'm pretty sure. We're open 12 months a year. I'm not sure if you're going to see me during January or February, but you might catch my partner Eric there. I don't know. But
what would be the months that you would what would be the months that you would say people would find the most enjoyable?
Right now, summertime. You know, because the hotter it is outside, the more refreshing that water is. So you know, June, July, August, but then September and October are pleasant because it's cooled off a little bit, and you get to see the leaves change, and you got a bunch of, you know, reds and yellows and, you know, different hues going on in all of Appalachia. So uh, the only time you probably shouldn't come here would be January and February, but we have a huge rush right between Christmas and New Year's. But if there's enough people come out, and that's what I love about Rockhounding is because it's not weather dependent. It can be rainy, it can be cold. It's not like fishing. You know, those rocks are there, they don't care, and it's for you to discover.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. Come on. Whenever you want, let's go.
So we did have one question. I know we've talked about some of the different minerals you can find. I know sapphire rubies, some of the moonstone. Someone was wondering if you have hiddenite.
No, we don't have hiddenite. We don't have any of the barrels like emeralds or aquamarine. Um, we have rubies, and a ruby is a sapphire. It's just a sapphire with a lot of chromium in it. That's what makes it red. That's what makes it fluorescent. But you also have pink sapphires, purple sapphires, lavender sapphires, and white sapphires, which we all have here on campus. And they will all fluoresce. We also have blue sapphire. We have the sillimanite. The sillimanite's important because it's only a one-off. Rubies and sapphires are made of two things: aluminum and oxygen. Sillimanite's made out of three things: aluminum, oxygen, and a silica, which is quartz. So wherever you find sillimanite, you're also going to find corundum typically. We have rutile, we have moonstone. We have two types of garnets. We have the rhodolite garnet, which is the one that gets confused with the pigeon blood ruby. We have pyro garnets. We also have citrine and smoky quartz and rose quartz and you know, a bunch of things in schist and conglomerates. You know, like garnets and matrix and you know, ruby schists and fun things like that, different specimens.
So
So
this might be good. I do want to show. Let me share my screen here. I came across a couple of some Facebook posts. Let me see here if I can share this. Okay, so I was going back through and I came across this post which talked about I believe it was the largest ruby that's come out of the Cherokee mine, which was the chief. The chief.
That's crazy.
Cherokee chief, which was over 1,000 carats.
yep.
That's crazy.
1,070 carat pigeon blood star ruby.
What? That's crazy.
You know, high translucence. And that
Wow.
and that's what I'm saying, right? This is 1,070 carats. The biggest ruby, maybe you guys can find this, or somebody can Google it later on. The biggest ruby that has ever been cut and set is about to be sold this summer, and it's only 54 carats. And we had one that was 1,070 carat jewelry grade, hamburger patty sized ruby come out of here.
Okay,
Yeah,
this is like, this is crazy.
Yeah, so I just looked it up and it says that I don't know when this was posted because it says on Thursday. So but it says it was a 55.22 carat ruby that is to be the largest and most valuable gem to sell at auction. And it's going for $34.8 million.
And where was it found?
India or Sri Lanka, I want to say.
Okay.
You know, one of those mines,
Right.
you know, out there, which the pigeon blood ruby can be found in 4 places in the world.
It actually says Firma Gems discovered it at the company's mine in Mozambique. So actually, Africa.
Africa.
So, but still, I mean, there's just so much that you don't know about this area, right? That's been undiscovered. I mean, you don't even know where the veins at. Like, who's to know what else you can find out there? Ah.
Here's actually another one. I'm going to just show this one quick. So this was, I believe, the second largest ruby that was found, which is the Cherokee Princess. This mentions here it was a 686 carat ruby. 2 cabochons were cut from it. The rest of it was remaining uncut. So here's
oh my God, look how gorgeous.
Here's some photos from it that they cut the Cherokee Princess, which is just sort of insane.
My niece's name is Ruby, and so like I just feel this pressure. I just need to find something incredible there. This is like exciting. I know I'm not going to find anything big like that, but it's exciting to think that maybe you could.
Yeah, we got to manage those expectations, right?
I know.
That was only one 1,070, right? But this is what we want to tell you is that first of all, you come here and you're already part of the legacy and the lore.
Yeah,
you're part of the exploration. But all you have to come away with is 2 carats, which as tiny as this. I mean, this.
Oh, yes.
If this were a ruby or a sapphire, this would be a 2-3 carat stone. So
for sure.
they're tiny.
And when you think about this, right? Like just from like a consumer prospect here, you're just thinking about being a consumer. I mean, if you go to buy a ruby online, a ruby ring, I mean, you're going to spend quite a bit of money, right? And not even honestly know if you're not into checking if it's even like man-made or not. And so just to know that you have this naturally, like you got it yourself, right? You unearthed this ruby. It's like, oh my God. I mean, if 2 carats is like, that's incredible. I mean, I would be so happy to find something like that for my niece. So absolutely.
Exactly. That's and that's what we try to drive home. Because some people come out and they're like, how much can I sell this for? And I'm like, don't try to sell it. I mean, they've got the market cornered on that. What you want to do is get it cut and get it set and get it turned into a pendant or a ring.
Yeah.
And make family heirloom jewelry.
Yeah.
And another quick plug, it's only $50 to cut. A lot of the lapidaries start at about $50, right? And work their way up. But for $50, you can get the sapphire or ruby or sillimanite or whatever, get it cut. And then only $70 for a sterling silver pendant. So for $120, you got yourself a legit piece of jewelry with a story. Just like you said, that
story, yes.
Yeah, and really quick, a way that you can tell the lab grown is that they'll be perfect every time.
Okay.
They do not have inclusions. And so, believe it or not, it's the imperfections that let you know that it came from nature. Only nature can produce an imperfect gem. So, that's important. And so I think some of this material that people, some lapidary thinks are cloudy, I think later on that's going to become popular because it may be a little cloudy, but guess what?
That's how it's
real.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So slightly off topic. I know you sort of briefly mentioned this since you were looking for a lot of land and stuff. I think I saw something that you like rescued like a pig or something. Could you talk about like some of the other things that are going on at the mine?
Oh yeah. Cherokee Ruby Mine has many layers. We also function as a rescue, animal rescue. We've got Nigerian goats. We have pot-bellied pigs. We have guinea pigs. We have a couple guinea pigs that were found in a dumpster behind a grocery store. And we now have them running around wild under the office and reproducing other little guinea pigs. So, yeah, we try to do, as much philanthropy as we possibly can. We do a lot of like low, zero cost field trips for schools. Yeah, because we want to get the local kids out. We want them to know about their area.
Yeah.
It's also, I tell you right now, Ben, man, you would love it. The fireflies, the synchronized fireflies, are going crazy down here. The night sky up here in Appalachia, you can see all the planets and meteor showers and, Mars in retrograde. It's, I've been getting into a lot of foraging lately. We've got the woodland forest, so we got a lot of mushrooms. I've been finding oyster mushrooms, lion's mane, chicken of the woods. So there's all kind of stuff to do out here. So when y'all come, you won't be bored for sure. So there's all kind of stuff to do out here. So.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm just trying to look through some of my notes that I had here. So if people want more information, you've got, I'm trying to think here, you've got definitely a website people can buy. You've also got Facebook, and correct me if I'm wrong, do you have Instagram, or I guess where else can people follow you for more information?
I believe we're on Instagram. I'm not, my age groups like the Facebook people. I'm not that techie.
No, it's
but I think.
Sorry, I'll finish
Yeah.
when you're done. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
But so there, I think check out Brian Majors. Watch the Crystal Collector. I try to plug the people that plug us, and he's fantastic. He's so educational. So and he shows you where else to go all around. So but yeah, check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Google. Hey, one thing everybody can do, because you kind of have virtually visited the mine today, please help us out. Go on Google, Google us and review us, and give us some stars and say that we're educational and we're fun, and that'll help push us up to the top of the list, and we appreciate it.
Or even better, do a trip and visit, and then review your visit.
Absolutely. I was just gonna say that it's sad to say that we're getting old, but like Facebook is like considered like for us old people. It's like it is like when I talk to my kids, they're like, "Oh, Facebook's for old people," and I'm
that's for my parents, right?
Just like I'm like, oh my god, I was here when Facebook started. It's old.
Crazy. But here we are. That's old folks.
Yeah, but this is where us old folks get together, is here on Facebook.
But yeah, please come by, and in any of the mines in town, there's a lot of other. We're the only one that's 100% unsalted, but there's some other mines that are salted, but actually have some really excellent natural material. They have natural garnets, they have natural sapphires, they have natural rubies. And honestly, I'm not sure why they're salted, but they've got their own business plan. And also visit places like Chunky Gal, right? Like Chunky Girl. It's on the Nantahala River. Okay. You can camp there for up to 2 weeks. And right there, a half mile from the parking lot, you can jump in and bust off pieces of peridot, which looks like aquamarine or like an emerald. I mean, it's a gem grade thing in itself. Yeah. And you can bang off pieces of it that have rubies growing in matrix. I've seen the most amazing stuff come out of like Standing Indian Mound and Nantahala National Forest. Just come visit Western North Carolina. Come visit Franklin, and do your research, and you'll eventually end up where we're at out here in Cowee Valley.
Totally like saving this specific episode just so that I can remember these places when I come. Like I am like all these locations that you're mentioning. I'm like, okay, I want to go see that. I want to try and like now I want to get this peridot that's got emeralds in it now.
Jim, great stuff right there for anybody to take.
That's awesome. Is there anything that you want to add before we conclude tonight?
No, just thank you so much, Amber, Ben. It's been fantastic. I love y'all's show. It's so educational. You guys are super entertaining, and I look forward to you guys coming down here so we can do something, live.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to find some time to make it down there. Maybe when I'm trying to escape the winters up here and I can show up in shorts and it's 40 degrees down there. So speaking of some future things, just so that everyone knows, we do have our next episode is going to be Wednesday, June 28th, same time, 8:45 Eastern time. I keep forgetting to mention that, and then I go through the audio to put it up on Spotify, and I'm like, I need to say it because people aren't always watching us. So next episode is going to be Wednesday, June 28th, and we are actually going to have a mystery guest.
Yes. Our current guest that we have scheduled for that episode is unable to commit. So it will be a mystery guest for the next episode. It will be a guest that you will enjoy and will learn from. So it will be an exciting show. It will just be a mystery.
Yeah. So So thank you again to Zeke, and to anyone looking for some rubies and sapphires in North Carolina, go check out the Cherokee Ruby Mine.
Yes.
And I guess for that, I'm Ben Korn, and thanks for joining us.
Yes. Amber, Nicole, your host. Peace out. Thank you, Zeke, for joining us. It's been incredible, and we will see you in 2 weeks.